Okay, let's start recording. Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to the 21st edition, 21st episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold. I go by AT. I go by Dre Theo. I go by Dre. And I probably have more nicknames yet to come, but, welcome to the show. Pull up. But before we get started, I want y'all to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Tell a friend to tell a friend, because right now we are at Eric Smedley number of followers. Why do I keep saying followers, man? It's subs, because on YouTube it's subs. So right now we're at Eric Smedley number of subs. So if you don't know me by now, I'm a Bills fan, even though I have a Wizards hat on. Go back and watch some of my other videos to know why I'm a Bills, Wizards, Nats, Sabres fan, But Eric Smedley was a safety for the Bills in the early 2000s, late 90s, around that time frame, and he wore the number 40. So right now we are at 40 subs, and like I said before, man, go tell a friend, to come check me out, follow me and shit, you know what I'm saying, or click the sub button or whatever button you want to call it, you know what I'm saying, so I can get to Reggie Gilliam number of followers, because Reggie Gilliam is a fullback for the Bills right now, and he wears number 41. So see what I'm doing? Playing with the numbers and stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna bore y'all with that. But anywho, what we got going on today, man? Let's go and get into it. So this morning, I went to go treat myself to some Denny's, and I gotta watch for the 2-minute mark, because I'm getting there. Because like I said, I want to be able to say what I want to say somewhat freely, because we know YouTube, they be censoring people and they be hating. So whatever, we'll just count down and we gonna start talking. But anywho, I went to Denny's this morning, man, because I was in the mood for an omelet, man. I went down and got me an omelet, got me the ultimate omelet. And as I was eating it, as I was putting food into, as I was eating, I could feel the food already on its way out. I'm like, man, how the hell you gonna make some food that you eat that as you eat it, it's coming out? Like, my stomach was like, man, we not processing none of this shit. See, I'm after the 2-minute mark, so I can start talking when I want to, I can start saying what I want to say a little more freely. But nah, man, as I was eating the food, it was like my stomach was like, nah, man, we're not doing that. Nah, we're not processing this. Just step aside, let the food go down. That's what my stomach did. My stomach got out the way and just let the food drop right to the asshole, just, nope, there you go. Nope, not eating this. I was like, man. So I'm not trying to hate on Denny's, man, but yeah, I don't know what that's about, man. That's weird. It was so bad, man. I remember I was eating and I had 1 hour on my meter, right? And I got done, I paid the tab, left, got back to my car with a couple minutes left on my meter. But as I got in my car, I had to go number 2 bad, man. It was my stomach was I think my stomach was out the way, and it just put its foot on my asshole, and it was trying to just push this shit out. It was it can't stay in here. It was nah, it can't stay in here, and I'm like, man. So I barely made it back to my apartment to go post the mail. You know what I mean? I barely had enough time, man. That was crazy, man. I almost ain't make it, man. When your stomach, it basically what happens is, I think as you get older, your stomach basically gives you intervals, right? It gives you cyclic intervals of, if you don't get to this toilet, man, I'm pushing this joint out. It's coming out. So I remember 5-6 years ago, that interval period was maybe 2 minutes. So once I got that big cramp and that big squeeze and that big push, I was like, man, cool, I got 2 minutes. Now it's shortened down to a minute, man. So once I felt that first squeeze, push, that first contraction, if you want to call it, man, I knew I had like less than a minute to get up to my room, man, and I sprinted to my room, bathroom, did what I had to do, and I'm here. Like I wore my Kyries and everything, man. I was scared, man. Like I was afraid that it's gonna be running down my leg, man, and it was gonna get on my Kyries, man. But it didn't happen, right? Yeah. So anyway, I don't mean to gross y'all out, but I just had to get that off my chest. But anywho, in case you guys don't know, this show is called Trippin with Theobold because I be tripping literally and figuratively. I trip in speech, literally, and I trip in thought figuratively. So let me break that down a little bit further for you. All right. So I grew up with a speech impediment, and my shit is not all the way gone. So when I have a little hiccup or when I mess up, I just call it out. I'm gonna be like, man, come on, Dre. And I'm gonna get back on to what I'm talking about. You know, life is too short for edits, so I just move the shit through. And then it's also called Trippin with Theobold because I have I think I have a unique way. Come on, Dre. Like I have I have a unique way of thinking, and I try to ask questions outside the box, and I have a lot of crazy ideas, and I'm not afraid of my thoughts. So, hence the name Trippin with Theobold. But let me also go ahead and get this joint started off too, because we're still kind of in the intro phase, and I need to kind of hurry up and move things along. But R.I.P. to Pop Pop, man. I had a friend in the family. I had a friend of the family pass away recently, and it was weird because I when I was real young, I had this other family that would babysit me, and look after me every now and again, or every now and again or whatever. And the parents or the parent of the people that took me on to watch me, was their dad, and their dad his name was Earl. You know what I mean? But for some reason, I just started calling him Pop Pop because I was a little tot, and R.I.P. to Pop Pop, man. A lot of good memories, a lot of good food, man. This dude Pop Pop could cook, man. I remember we come home from church, and man, he'd be cooking all day from 4 a.m. until the mid afternoon, man, and that food was second to none. You know what I'm saying? I remember me and my man E, who that's his grandfather. Me and E would get up, or we could smell the biscuits cooking in the morning. We could smell them biscuits. He'd be up 4 o'clock. We could hear him with the rolling pin and with the flour and sifting the flour and making the dough and the bread. And right as the sun came up, man, we'd smell them biscuits, man. And either me or him would get up and go look over the banister, and we would look down there and be like, yo, man, is he making biscuits? I'm like, yeah, he's making biscuits this morning, man. Biscuits. Yeah, man, it's going, man. Biscuits, man. And biscuits was hitting. I ain't never ate biscuits as good as what Pop Pop made, man. So, yeah, man. R.I.P. to Pop Pop, man. A lot of great memories. And, he will be missed, man. So what else we got going on for the show for today? So I'm still in the intro part. Yeah, so today I want to promote Scotch Porter. I'm not sure if y'all can see that. Scotch Porter beard products, right? This is the beard balm, but they have they got the beard shampoo, and then they got the conditioner, and then they got the balm, and then you got it's like some gel to kind of make it hold at the end. So, they have all dope products, man. A little pricey, but it's worth it. I know a lot of y'all out there can't grow a full beard. A lot of y'all out there looking like Civil War cadets, little Civil War soldiers and shit, with your shit stopping right here, But go ahead and, if you want to go ahead and, treat your beard and make it look fuller, man, definitely get some of this, Scotch Porter, The weird thing is, my man E put me onto this, and I ordered it, and it came in the mail. I got the kit, and I was impressed. But then I realized that they started selling them at Target, so you can find these at select Targets. But I don't know why they don't sell them at all Targets. Like there's some Targets where you go in there and it's like they just don't sell it, and they haven't even. Come on, Dre. Like there's some Targets where they don't even, like people don't even know that they sell Scotch Porter. You know what I'm saying? So this is a good beard product. I've been using it for the past couple months. No complaints. Do it. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about some DFS, man. So last week, but before I get into DFS, I want to talk about some NFL talk, So last weekend I went to the Rams Lions game over at SoFi Stadium out here in Inglewood. And nigga, that is an impressive piece of work. That stadium, like, is ridiculous, man. Like, I don't know. Here's the thing, right? Like I felt kind of guilty about being in that stadium, man. Like, even though it was a beautiful structure and it was a monstrosity of a structure, and it was just nothing like your mind couldn't even comprehend what you were in. Like it was that big and just that huge. I just felt like, man, like I think that stadium cost like anywhere from $3 to $5 billion to make or whatever it was, or to build. And I'm just like, I kind of felt guilty because I'm sitting in this arena that's like $5 billion, or the structure that's $5 billion, and I'm just like, yo, the world, or not the world, but the U.S. has bigger problems than a stadium, Like, man, I just felt weird, Like, it just felt like I just felt greedy, and to add insult to injury, that stadium is so big, they ran out of food in the third quarter. Like, come on, man. Like, if you got that many people in the stadium and you can't even, like, guarantee that the food not going to run out, man, that's gluttony right there. But like I said before, it's a beautiful structure, man. Beautiful structure, man. Like, I've never seen anything like that, Like, we parked over at this parking structure, and the stadium is so big that you can't just drive by it, because the parking lot around it is so big, and like you have to pay if you're gonna park in the parking lot, you have to pay to park, and parking is about $100, So, what most people do is they park. Come on, Trey. What most people do is they park like in an adjacent neighborhood and walk like a mile and a half. They walk a mile and a half to get to the stadium. But man, like you can't just drive past it, right? Like, for example, in Buffalo, there's Highmark Stadium, aka Ralph Wilson Stadium, aka what's the other name? AKA Rich Stadium. Man, I'm blanking. I don't know why I'm blanking, but you can just get on the strip and drive past it, right? There's parking around like the sides and the back, but there's a strip that you can drive down to drive in front of the stadium. But with SoFi, you can't drive past that shit, So that's crazy. So we went to a parking structure, then we caught a shuttle. It's like a 10-minute shuttle ride to get to the parking lot to get to the stadium. And when you pull up on the stadium, you don't even know you're in front of the stadium. That's how big the shit is, Like, we pulled up in front of the NFL operations office or whatever, and I'm like, damn, where's the stadium at? And then you look behind it, it's like, oh, shit. Like, that motherfucker is huge. So, anywho, it was a good game. The Lions put up a fight. I'm a Bills fan, but my former coworker, he's a devout Lions fan, and he had tickets, and we both wanted to go check out SoFi, so that's what we did. Um, but anywho, let's talk some DFS talk, man. So I didn't hit the Millie Maker last week, but the pattern still held, right? Meaning that there was a different quarterback. Um, there was a different quarterback that made the list. Um, you had two new running backs that made the list. You had a repeat receiver in the mix, a new tight end, different defense, So the pattern held. So next week, I'm just going to keep crossing off those lines and using deductive reasoning to see if I can't narrow my way down to getting some of this Millie. I got to hit this Millie, man. Got to hit this shit. Got to hit this shit. But anywho, what else, man? So NBA season is in full effect, and I'm doing my NBA DFS. What I typically do is I do a quarter a day. 25 cent. I do 25 cent Monday through Thursday typically. I do the pick'ems. Well, it's a tier league, right? I don't do the traditional DFS with the dollar amounts, because if you can't pick the tiers, then how you gonna pick the dollar amounts, right? Like, you have to. I think once you master the tiers, then you can go on and have way more success in the bigger tournaments with the actual like salary cap and everything, right? So, but I did that. And then what I do too is then on the weekends I do like $1 just to try to bump it up a little bit, on Saturday. And then NFL is, I put a dub down for that Millie Maker, and then I just try to, like I said, I try to, get some of that Millie. But what else, man? Ja Morant is hooping right now, man. Like, he's looking like the real deal. Like, I'm impressed, So, but I still think they should have kept Valanciunas, because Valanciunas gave them a different dimension of offense, where I feel like Steven Adams is I feel like you can't feature him in the offense. Like, you can't have the offense go around him. I feel like he's more of a role player in an offense, right? Which works great for Ja Morant, but it's like now that team, I think, has taken away a dimension, right? Whereas with Valanciunas, in case Ja was having an off night, Valanciunas, the game could be built around him, And then that really messed up how teams play defense, And I think that was a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams. But maybe they did it for salary cap. I don't think it was even for salary cap reasons, because Steven Adams is pretty pricey. And like I said, Steven Adams is no slouch. Like he does the dirty work in the paint, rebounds, he gets points. But when it comes to scoring, Valanciunas' ceiling is way higher than Steven Adams, But then again, it's like, Valanciunas' defense is probably not as good as Steven Adams. But from an offensive perspective, if you're out in the West, you got to be able to put up points. But anyways, man, Ja Morant's hooping. What else I want to talk about? Yeah, man, Line Star is messing me up, man. Like, I be studying the data. I be looking at the projected fantasy points. I'd be looking at I look at the projected ownership of each player. I look at all these different stats, man, and it's like these players do what they want to do. Even the thing with Line Star is the data looks like there's a pattern, you can figure it out. Like, there's one pattern that holds. Basically, it's if you have a player that's been increasing in fantasy points over games like this for more than like 4 games, he's probably not going to maintain that, So now it's like, is it risk? Like, is it worth him? Like, if you know he's going to come down, then you have to ask yourself if the next player in that tier, if they're going to be able to, when they go up, are they going to be able to exceed that amount, right? So I'm still figuring it out. And when I do, I'll let y'all know after I get the money though, because I gotta get this paper, man. I gotta get it, man. Gotta get it. But what else I want to talk about, man? Yeah, real quick, man. Make sure y'all, like I said before, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jam up the comment section with comments or whatever you want to talk about, and I will get back to them. But let's go ahead and talk some work talk. All right, let's talk this work talk shit. All right, so today's topic for work talk, what I want to talk about is the email game. All right, email game. What is email game? Well, let me put it to you like this. Emails in corporate America are the condoms of your paycheck, right? So the email or emails are the only thing that you can use to protect yourself in a company, right? Now, some companies have processes, and some companies have very good processes. Some companies have no process, right? But process is kind of like a thing that's like optional, right? And that's one of the questions I ask for whenever I interview, are like, hey, what are your processes? What tools do you use for change management? I ask all those questions because the more serious they are about change management and processes, the more I can lean in on the process, because good process protects good employees or employees that want to do well, right? So if you're an employee and you want to do well, but you're being overshadowed by other people at the top or whatever, and if you're not being heard or whatever it is, you could just lean into the process and then document everything and then move on, and then it's going to force them to have it on record that you said what you said or whatever, But when you don't have process, what happens is, even if you lean into it, they might not even read that shit. They may be like, man, whatever, nah. So then it turns into more of if they like you or not, right? That's really what I meant to say earlier is there's a relationship in corporate America with processes and likability, right? It's an inverse proportional relationship between work processes and likability of an employee, right? So really what I'm saying is, the stronger a company's processes are, the less you got to get these motherfuckers to like you. You know what I'm saying? But the shittier the processes, the more you got to get these motherfuckers to like you, or just lay in the cut and don't piss them off, right? But we're going to talk email talk today for work talk. We're going to talk about emails, right? I remember taking a training when I was at a previous company, and they were talking about emails, and it was a little short training, and they said, hey, when you write emails, don't be speculative, don't put opinions in there. And I 100% agree, but what they didn't teach you in that training, or what they didn't say in that training is how to use emails to cover your ass, right? That's what I use email for. People get pissed at me in corporate America when I send out emails because they know what I'm doing, right? They know what I am doing. So, for example, let me go ahead and give you a little short story to give you some insight. So, I remember one time I was a newbie engineer, in corporate America, and schedules were getting crunched and things had to get done. Like, everyone was flying by the seat of their pants, and everyone was, panicking or whatever. And I remember I was working multiple things, and I had a project engineer on our team, which is a higher up person, no, was he a project engineer? Well, he was a principal, so I was a peon, and I was at the first rung of the ladder. He was on rung 12 out of 20, But I remember he came to my desk and was he's like, Andre, yo man, you gotta get, you gotta do X, Y, and Z and get this out, Now I wasn't behind schedule or nothing like that. It was just like an emergency, and it was the dumbest shit I ever heard. It was like something dumb. It just didn't make sense. I'm like, you want me to do what? And I knew that if I did this, and if I put it in the field, it was gonna fuck up, right? And it was gonna cause more chaos in the field, and that just didn't seem like a viable solution. So I didn't say all this to him because I'm new and I'm being respectful as I should, So, I was like, hey, if I do this, this is gonna happen in the field, and you're gonna have a bigger mess. And he comes, I don't care about all that. I don't have time to argue. Just rah 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 rah. Get this out and blah blah blah. Or you're gonna get reprimanded, and like he was just coming at me hard, So I'm like, oh man, I don't want to mess around and get fired, right? So I gotta do what my superiors tell me. So I went ahead and I did what he wanted me to do, and I went about my day. And then 2 weeks go by. After the second week, the same motherfucker come by my desk. He was like, Andre, who told you to do blah 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 and blah 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 and blah 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 blah? I'm like, you did. He said, I will never say such a thing, and blah, 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 and you're getting out of line, and blah, 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 and if you can't do your job, then he just gave me the whole rundown. Like I was being reprimanded for doing something that he wanted me to do. So I couldn't find the email. I was panicking, and at that moment it clicked. I was like, aha, I get the game. Okay. If this is how the game can be played, I have to adjust my strategies. Right? So I said, okay. I took that one on the chin. I said, you know what? My bad. I must have just got some bad information. I made a bad decision. I'll clean it up, but moving forward, I learned my lesson, right? So moving forward, what I did was, when that happened again, coworker comes by or superior comes by and was like, Andre, we need you to do blah, 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 right? And let me just, instead of saying blah, blah, Andre, we want you to do this monkey shit. We want you to do stupid monkey shit, right? Let's just call it that, right? He came by my cube, Andre, we want you to do this dumbass monkey shit, So instead of me trying to ask questions, and I know that they were up in an uproar and they were in a rush to get this monkey shit done, I let him talk, and then I verbally reiterated. I said, okay, just to make sure I'm clear, you want me to do X, Y, Z, or you want me to do stupid monkey shit, but that's just in brackets, right? So, and he said, yeah, do that. I said, okay, cool. So when he goes away, I pull out my email, and in my email, I said, per today's conversation at 3:45 p.m., just wanted to confirm that you want me to do monkey shit, right? In brackets. Like I didn't put that in the email. I just put I'm just substituting that for, I'm substituting the word monkey shit for the monkey shit, right? So that's what it is, right? But anyways, I said, hey, per today, or I said, per today's quick meeting or whatever at 3:42 p.m., you want me to, I am to do monkey shit, boom, boom, boom. If this is not the correct course of action, please advise by COB today. End of email, right? And then I do the monkey shit, and then I'm done, right? So when I did that, what happened was a few weeks later, same dude came by my desk, bitching and who told you to do this monkey shit, all right? So instead of me getting worked up and panicking and trying to defend myself, I said, 1 minute, go check your email, right? So when I sent them the email the first time and I didn't get a response, right? I forwarded that email back to him and I got back to work. And then he didn't come by my cube anymore, because he knew, right? That's the game, right? The name of the game is if you see something wrong or something that can be done better, by all means, speak up if you can. But I'll probably do another video on when to speak up on shit and when not to speak up on shit. But in this case, in the environment that I was in, it wasn't in my best interest to speak up on shit. So I said, okay. So I did it, put it in the email, put it in my save folder or whatever. And when he came back, asking, hey, who told you to do this dumb shit? And I said, go check your email. He go checks his email. I don't hear back from him because he knows, right? So a lot of times what will happen too is, because I worked at like another company, and a lot of times what happens is people will know that's what you're doing, but they don't want to have accountability for what they tell you to do, right? So when I worked for another company later, had this one guy, he would come by my cube. He's like, Andre, yeah, can you do monkey shit, dumb shit? And I said, okay. Then when I used the tactic that I used at my last company, he didn't even respond to my email. He just came back to my desk. He's like, yeah, Andre, I saw your email. Yeah, just go ahead and do it. I'm like, okay. Well, can you respond to my email? I don't have time to respond. I'm like, okay, well, look, if you don't have time to respond to my email, then I'll get to it when I can get to it, So it just kept going on and on and on. When I didn't do it, I wasn't gonna accept ownership of something that I didn't think was right. So he came back to my desk like 5 times. Then my manager was like, hey, why isn't this getting done? I just forwarded her the email, and when I forwarded her the email, she jumped on him, So emails are key in corporate America, right? You have to learn how to use your emails in corporate America, and that's why I want to talk about this John Gruden shit right quick, right? Because John Gruden, here's the thing, right? John Gruden, as you guys may or may not have known, John Gruden was the coach for the Raiders. He got fired for saying insensitive things in the email. But here's the thing, right? Everything that they were saying in the email didn't offend me, right? Now, of course, it's not professional. You know what I'm saying? You never get emotional in an email. You never give your opinion in an email. Emails in corporate America, in a corporate setting for someone that's cutting your check, are to be used for non-speculative information only, right? Right? I mean, you don't speculate in the email. Everything is fact-driven. I need XYZ to do ABC. Please send me ABC so I can do XYZ. Here are the results from ABC, right? Keep it real simple, right? So at the end of the day, my thing is John Gruden deserved to get fired, man. Because that's just, at the end of the day, what we saw is, I feel like what's more at stake than the insensitive comments that he made or whatever was just privilege. He was privileged, right? He was probably saying all types of shit in emails, doing what he wanted to do ever since the email that he typed up and wrote that they sent back. That was college talk, right? That was college high school level email. That was college high school level literacy, right? And I don't mean by the actual typing of the email or the words or the word structure of the email. I'm talking about just from a common sense standpoint. Here it is, you got a grown ass man in his 50s behaving like a high schooler or a college student in an email. How that's what I'm saying. That's called privilege for you, because he been doing that. That's who he is, right? So when you have people that have, I mean, to me, it's surprising that he actually lasted this long in the NFL, because that lets you know right now that the NFL ain't shit. Because I want to see the rest of the emails. I want to see all the emails, man, because I know there's probably been way worse shit said in emails around everybody, and I want to see what those emails say. But it was funny how Roger Goodell, came down and came to the defense of Daniel Snyder, And at the end of the day, what we're seeing is, you're seeing that, money talks and bullshit walks in the NFL, right? Yeah, John Gruden had a huge contract to coach the Raiders, but he wasn't an owner, So if you look at Dan Snyder's an owner, and they people wanted those emails exposed, but because he had money, they were able to shut that shit down. Basically, you see the tier structure, right? It goes owners, Roger Goodell, coaches. That's how that shit goes in the NFL. And it's my conjecture or my theory that John Gruden pissed somebody off years ago, and they were having an internal war, and they had battles, and at the end of the day, this was the battle that cost him the war. So that's what I'm saying. Email game is very important, man. Like, you want to make sure that you're being non-speculative, you're not giving any opinions, and you're just stating facts. Everything should be able to be referenced in the email. You should be able to say, you know what, if you go to this document, or if you go to this folder or this drive, you can find the same information, and I'm just referring to that. So that's that. So anyways, I hope you guys learned something from that. If not, I don't know what to tell you. But other than that, like I said, stop being personal in emails and use them to cover your ass, because you will need that shit. And let me say this last tip too, right? When it comes to a company, your ability to know the game and know how to use emails determines what tactics they use to try to get you fired at the end of the day, right? So for example, if you don't know the email game, right, that's probably going to expose the fact that you don't know a lot of how the corporate rules work in corporate America, right? So they're going to try to hit you on all different angles, and they're going to try to get you. But if your email game is on point, it puts companies in the bind to have to work with you, meaning that if you're doing your job and they just don't like you, but you know how the email game works, that means that they just can't do some random willy-nilly shit to get you fired. Because if your email game is correct and it's on point, if they try to go lawyer up, the lawyers will be like, yo, let me see your email track. Oh, he did all this, he said this. Oh, you guys might want to go back and rethink your case, because if, what you're trying to get him fired for is some bullshit. But, if you take this to court, he'll probably win. And those are the kind of discussions that they have behind closed doors in HR and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying it's like, but me personally, I don't want to be in an organization where I'm not wanted. So I can tell, like, I can tell by how people talk to me or how I get left out of shit. I can tell. At the end of the day, if I feel like I'm not wanted, I'll get the fuck up and leave. Like, that's just my whole motto. Like, with me, my whole thing is I'm not trying to use corporate America as the titty that I get my nourishment from, right? Like, I'm trying to wean myself off that titty. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just stay sucking on the titty in corporate America. They just stay on that titty their whole life, And then when they get cut off, that's why they still act like babies, because they didn't realize the game or what the game was about. With me, I'm trying to make moves outside of work. Like, I'm doing everything you want me to do. I'm being professional. I'm sending my emails. I'm doing this, that, and the third. But I'm not trying to climb no ladder. If somebody wants to come and be a save ass and come take my work and make me look bad, cool, take my work. That's not my work, right? In corporate America, I don't own anything in the company. So if you want to come take the shit I'm working on, by all means, go take it. I'm going to find shit to do to get my shit comparable so I can get my pay. But like I said, I have a segmented amount of effort and energy that I give to work. And then when I'm outside of work, I take my money and my resources and I try to build something outside of work so I can wean myself off that titty. So I'm not stuck, because a lot of people are stuck in the corporate game, man. They stuck. It's too late. Like, they stuck, But anywho, let me go ahead and I'm done with that. Like I said, if you guys disagree or if you agree, I want to hear your thoughts. Put it down in the comment section. Kermit the Frog that shit. I want to have a discussion about that. Or maybe there's more topics in there that I can go spawn off of this, right? But what else we got going on? So Halloween is on Sunday, 2 days from now, and I'm just not really in the Halloween mood, man. I'm not. because we're still in this quasi Colt 45 state in this country. And I don't know, like the big reason why I'm just not really feeling Halloween like that is because at the end of the day, I feel like everything is about compliance and not safety, right? Everything is about just show me this if you want to get in here. And you don't even have to have the correct, like they're not really checking for the information. They just want to know that, hey, you're going along to get along at the end of the day. Like if they were really about safety, they would be like, hey, here's some checks, or hey, you have to prove that you got this test before you even come in here, right? Or maybe there's even a faster version of the test that they can do and tell you within 5 minutes, So maybe there's a pre-line that you get into where you go do your test, and then before you get, I'm over it. So, but anyways, I'm still dressing up, for Halloween. I'll probably talk about my costume next week, or if you guys go on my Instagram, if you follow me on my Instagram, you'll probably see what I'm going as. I still got to make some more finishing touches on my costume, but I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm happy that I'm not recycling old costumes that I did in the past or that I've done in the past, right? Because in the past, like I said, I was Prince Adam from He-Man. I was Larry Blackman from Cameo. I was a Cream of Wheat man. I did a lot of costumes, man. That's like my thing. But I'm still dressing up. I'm not gonna spoil the surprise for y'all. It's gonna be a little different, but I think it's relevant, to what's to the entertainment industry and what's going on and what people like know about. I'm worried about it being a little too hacky, but I mean, I think I'm going to be the only one who looks like me doing it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, what I really want to get into today is I want to get into this Will and Jada shit, Jada, man. I remember back in like the was it early 2000s or whatever it was, late 90s, everyone was comparing themselves to, oh, I want to be married like Will and Jada. I want to be married like Will and Jada. And I'm thinking right now, nigga, no, you don't. Probably not, So if you don't know, basically, Jada struck again. Last year it was the whole shit with August. Now it's and then Will had to go back and address that on Red Table Talk. Now Jada's talking about the bedroom life with Will, and that's not cool, man. Like if you're single and if people don't know who you date or who you're with, then yeah, maybe you could publicly go out and talk about, your bedroom life or your bedroom frustrations. But to have a whole podcast / table talk thing where you go in there and you basically admit that that Will not busting you open like you want to be bust open, man. Like, come on, man. It's like that's not cool, And what I'm starting to think this is about, I'm starting to think this is more about this is just my conjecture, like I said, this is just my 2 cents. But I'm starting to think that Jada is starting to resent Will. Like, Will is like the breadwinner of their family. I mean, if Jada left, she could go make her own bread. Like, she doesn't need Will, right? But she's not going to be able to outdo Will, right? Because at the end of the day, Will is an A-list actor. And he has been since the 90s, Like, you can't discredit that. Independence Day, I Am Legend, Ali, and the list goes on, Those are films that were featuring Will. Like, Will was the centerpiece of that movie, Whereas Jada is a good actress, but she's not A-list. Like, there's not one movie I can name with Jada where she is like the focal of like they built the movie around her. Like, now granted, she stole the show in Low Down Dirty Shame. She had a dope role in the film, but that wasn't that wasn't about her. Like she just had a dope role and dope writers for that role, you know. But I don't know, man. This whole, like I said, my thing is I have a pretty aggressive standpoint on marriage, you know, which is probably why I'm not gonna get married, you know, because people hear what I'm about to say, they're gonna be like, yeah, that's not how it works in this country, but that's cool. So, anywho, if I sign up for a marriage, I am committing myself to the marriage, not the woman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people commit to the person, but humans are flawed by nature, right? Humans, um, according to the scriptures or whatever, like humans were supposed to be perfect at first, but we fell, and we're not perfect, right? But marriage, in and of its standpoint, or the concept of it, is perfect, right? So if that's the case, you know, now we should all be striving for the perfect marriage, right? But um I want to make sure I don't lose y'all. But basically the concept or the construct of marriage or the idea of it is perfect because it came from a perfect authority, right? If you choose to believe that, right? Let me go and throw that in there, right? But all marriages in actuality are not perfect, right? So my thing is this. This is just for me. I'm not saying that everyone should be like me, because like I said, I'm probably tripping right now to most of y'all. But anyways, the way I think it works for me, or if I'm going to marry a chick, I'm going to think about all the bad things that she could do after I put that ring on that finger. You know, that means like, yo, if I commit and we get in this marriage and right in the middle of the marriage, she wants to go be a hoe in the streets, and if she wants to, you know, um, be on front page with all the rappers and people are clowning me in social media and I'm getting made fun of and all this, that, and the third, you know, if I feel like I have to divorce my wife in that case, then I'm not gonna get married. Because at the end of the day, I'm committed to the marriage, not her. You know what I'm saying? So she could go out on the streets and do whatever, be a whore, be whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I have to get to that point where I'm like, you know what? That can happen. And if it happens, you know, that's still my wife at the end of the day. You know, yeah, my wife is a hoe, but that's still my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I have to be at mentally for me to even go down that path. So I'm not there yet, you know. That's just me, but I'm not there yet, you know, because that shit is hard. But um, to me, it's like it's like when you commit to an idea, and I'm all about committing to what you sign up for, you know. Like y'all know I'm a Bills fan, been a Bills fan. That's the only team I ever rooted for in life, you know. Um, and when them damn Bills lost them Super Bowls back to back to back to back, every summer I was trying to find a new team, and I was like, man, I gotta find a new team, man. I can't be rooting for these dudes, man. This shit is embarrassing, man. They going there and losing. I'm like, fuck, man. So I tried looking at the Steel. I tried doing my research on the Steelers. I tried doing my research on other teams, but at the end of the day, I'm like, man, this just don't feel right. That's not my team. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and stick with these damn Bills. You know. So even if the Bills go to the Super Bowl this year and they fuck up, or they fall off the wagon and become bottom feeders of the NFL again, that's still my team, right? Right? Because to me, it's when you have years invested in something, no matter how shitty it is or how not good it is, you can't take back those years, man. Like you can't take those years that you can't take back those years I put into it. You know what I'm saying? So why not just keep building, you know, and just keep learning and find maybe there's a secret path or a unique combination of blunders and failures that makes your shit really unique. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm about. So anywho, like I said, man, I hope Jada and Will work they stuff out, but it doesn't sound like it's resolved. Um, like what is she trying to do at the end of the day? You know what I'm saying? Like here it is. It's like this dude Will is basically building up a legacy, and she's trying to tank that joint. So yeah. I hope they get their act together, man. But that's on them. What else we got? So let's go ahead and get into the comedy bump portion of the show. This is the last piece I'm gonna talk about. Then we're gonna wrap up. But today's comedy bump, basically, it's you have to be careful in the comedy game of mistaking good deeds for friendship. Gotta be careful with that. So here's what happened, right? I remember when I first moved to California, I was trying to get on and do different shows, right? And I knew people I knew at work or coworkers of mine knew that that I did comedy or whatever, and they had shows that they went to, and they were like, "Yo, you should try to get on this show," because I go here every Thursday, right? So I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let me go check that spot out." So I went down to the venue, checked out the spot, and met the promoter slash host of the show. Cool dude, you know what I'm saying? And I watched the show. I was a paid patron or whatever, and then he gave me a guest spot the following month. He did a show. I did a show, got good laughs, and he kept having me. Every time I came through, he just would throw me up for like 5 minutes. Right, I always got guest spots doing that room. Then one evening, I did a guest spot, and then right after as soon as the show was over or whatever, he went to the car. Like he went to his car, and his car wouldn't start. So he had car trouble or whatever, and he needed a ride home. So this wasn't just like a 5-mile trip around the block. Like I had to go like 30 miles north out of my way. So I basically gave him a ride at midnight, 30 miles north to his spot. We talked about comedy and stuff and the struggle and just what we're trying to do and this, that, and the third. I dropped him off. And I'm thinking, okay, cool, we have a new bond, right? So, because like, I never asked him for money or nothing like that, So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get like more work and more opportunities. So I kept doing his room that was in this one location. And then he finally put me on his bigger show, which was like a bigger stage, bigger room, right? And I went up there and I ate shit. I went up there. I was like I guess I was like a little too confident or whatever. And I wasn't focused as I should have been. And I went up there, and then maybe within like the first like 2 jokes, I forgot the punchline, and I just hung on it. I couldn't get off it, So he basically wrapped up my time, cut me off stage or whatever, and that was that. And then after the show, like, he never asked, "Hey, what happened? Like, what went wrong? Hey, we're gonna try you. Hey, we're gonna try you again. Just keep going to my other room, and then I'll try to put you up again." So before all that, right after I gave him a ride back to his spot, he followed me on social media, and I'm like, that's when I thought, oh, okay, I'm in, But then, right after I bombed or had that bad show, like, he unfollowed me on social media. There was no talk about anything, and I wasn't like seeing him like every week or so. It was like more like a month. I would see him like once a month, but then like it's either 1 month or whatever. He kind of forgot he appeared to have forgotten who I was, So I learned that, man. The lesson that we learned from that or whatever is this comedy game is real fluky. Like some people may act like they rock with you, and then you may get work at one level from one comedian. I mean, from like one person, and then if you get work from that person, even if you go out of your way to do something to help them when you didn't have to, like, don't confuse that with they're gonna just keep rocking with you forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So everything is day to day. Like, everything I've earned right now, or every situation I'm in right now, it can all be taken away like that, so, or it could all change like that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad about that. There's no beef, there's no hate. It's just, I know what it is, So, what do I got coming up? I potentially have a show on November 7th. I still got to get in touch with the promoter for that show, but when I find out, I will let you all know. Like I said before, if you guys haven't done already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, Kermit the Frog, that comment section, you know what I'm saying? Questions. If you disagree with something I said, put it in there. And then maybe there'll be another topic that I pull out of that so we can have another topic for a show. But yeah, man, do all that shit. Oh yeah, and if you haven't told a friend, tell a friend. And then tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You guys know how it goes. I'm at AT is where it's at on all forms of social media. Follow me. But with that being said, that's all, folks.